You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Fallout is pretty as snow when the ash starts to glow. The feel of radiating through your home. Fallout is pretty as snow when the ash starts to glow. The feel of radiating through your home. Fallout is pretty as snow when the ash starts to glow. The feel of radiating through your home. Fallout is pretty as snow when the ash starts to glow. The feel of radiating through your home.
Hello and welcome to the 441st edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight we've got Ray. What's up, Ray?
Yeah, hello. Was somebody whistling? I thought I heard whistling.
There was someone
Rumor
whistling.
has it somebody was whistling along.
Give a little whistle. And always let your conscience be your guide, right? Jess? Hey, Jess. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody. You know it.
All right. What is going on?
Was that from Sleeping Beauty? The give a little whistle.
That's Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio, I believe.
Oh, it was. Okay. Yeah. Good job.
I believe.
I'm testing you.
Yeah, someone's got a child and watches Disney movies. Hi guys, tonight on the show we will go over our gameplay off the top as usual. Got a little bit of feedback. We have an email from Taz. He's checking in again. Very cool. And we'll also see what we have for game time. I've prepared a little bit of an Atlantic City fun quiz. I don't know if fun and quizzes have ever been associated together, but we'll see if we can pull that
Around
one
here
off.
they are, just like those tadpole quizzes, you know, a real blast.
Oh goodness, that's the opposite of a fun quiz.
4 out of 5, Andrew. 4 out of 5.
Oh, good lord. And some iguana bits to check in with, and some shouts on the way out the door. So why don't we go ahead and check in and see what everybody's been playing. Jess, what have you been doing this week? Did you get a chance playing the video games?
I did, but it might have been mostly Starfield. Yes, this was a Starfield week for me. Last weekend after the show, I jumped in, got a few missions deeper. I mentioned that I had met the Starborn in Starfield. No spoilers, but yeah, continuing to explore. I did the Kepler mission, the over-designed mission for Walter. And, you know, it's funny. There was a lot of debate about this in our Discord as far as like, what's the better ship, what you should do, how do you get the Kepler R versus the Kepler S and all that. And I actually, you know, looking at them, I wanted the Kepler S. It's the smaller one. So a lot of people went for the Kepler R, the kitchen sink design, because, you know, it sells for more, but it's also kind of a monstrosity. And I couldn't do that to Walter. I couldn't go in. He trusted me to kind of help design a ship for this mission. If you guys don't know, you're helping Stroud Eklund design a ship, and you've got to work with some designers. You can talk to them, feel them out, see what's going on, and, you know, kind of help them come together. And there's all kinds of routes you can take with this one, you know, who you might listen to, who you might not, whether you go for compromising or a team building exercise, which that's a real trip. You guys did the team building exercise. It's a real trip, a little bit too real. So anyway, I went for the Kepler S. It's an elegant machine. Very happy with it. I'm, of course, going to sell it pretty soon, but I haven't yet. Could be a good base for a new ship.
I'm so clueless to Starfield.
I know, and it's a Fallout podcast, so I'm going first. I'm not gonna belabor the Starfield stuff, but that is what I did. And I mean, it's the usual thing too, where you jump in and you think, oh, I'm going to really advance the quest this time. I'm doing good. You know, I'm focusing on the main quest. And then you land on a planet and there are creatures to scan. There are plants to find. You know, there are all these things to do and pictures to take. Oh my God, they're not going to take themselves. I went to Vlad's Manor finally. I'd never been to Vlad's house. That's over on, I believe, Sirma 3. I think it's Sirma 3. It's in the Sirma system. And he's got a nice little McMansion there, little pirate McMansion with a little bit of lore to it, some good stuff. I think even though it's a very high level system, I think probably around 75 rate. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
It's dangerous, but you can, if you go there early on, I think it's actually a good place to be able to pick up a couple good weapons because there are some that will load there. But I decided to explore, and it has a bit of a Scottish Highlands feel. Like there are some really cool ridges and valleys, and now that there are Starborn in my game, like I run into them occasionally, so that's been a lot of fun. I grabbed a couple more powers, and I am on a mission to because I have to advance the main quest, but I am still trying to get every miscellaneous quest possible, and it's neat you can still find some. There, there are some. What I did instead of working on the main quest was after doing this, I said, let's go through my activities tab, and I'm going to finish all the activities because a lot of the time, getting stuff in the activities tab or the miscellaneous tab is how you kind of initialize and activate actual quests. It's like go talk to this person, go listen to this person. So I was just going through and doing all those. And there was one person on Mars, Cydonia, that I'd never actually talked to, Rivka. That might be the oldest quest in my miscellaneous activities. It's like, talk to Rivka. I never did. Well, he's the one who gives you a quest called Media Sponge, which I have seen from a couple people as one of the most pointless quests in the game. I'm like, oh, here it is. I'm excited. I get this most pointless side quest people have complained about. And yeah, so dude's a big old nerd. I wouldn't know anything about that. And apparently he likes things like comics and video games and movies and first editions. And he wants you to go pick him up a comic book.
And video games and podcasts and video game podcasts and podcasts about video games.
What a nerd. He probably likes pugs too. So anyway, no, he's not that cool actually. Got to be real for a second. No. But anyway, he sends you to get a first edition of like, not Legacy of the Dragonborn, although that would be funny, but like Dragonstorm Riders of, whatchamacallit. And so you go and you pick it up, you bring it back to him. He's like, dude, that's cool. And he gives you money for it. And that's the quest.
Well, and that's not a pointless quest. I mean, you can get, I think it was 3,200 credits for each one you turn in.
It was worth it. Yeah, it was worth it. The credits weren't bad. And yeah, it's just pretty funny. I think people, find the character a bit amusing too, because he's like, yeah, all I do is watch TV all day. He had a situation in Sidonia. And so he's, they basically just pay him to stay, which there are a couple of people who are, it's like disability, but they're essentially getting kind of payments for their housing as long as they stay on Sidonia and don't leave, which I just thought that was interesting. There's a couple characters like that, but anyway, he's all about his first edition. So that was fun, but I'm doing a bunch of them. Another one I did was, oh, wait, that wasn't Rivka, by the way. Sorry. Rivka is the daughter of an executive at Reliant Medical. I won't go into the details of every little quest, but I did a bunch of these miscellaneous ones. Rivka was actually more involved, and that was a lot of back and forth. That wasn't Media Sponge. Media Sponge was separate, but I hadn't done that one previously either. So it was good to find two on Mars I hadn't done, and a few others. So I'm getting really close to getting them all done. The 67 known named side quests, I'm somewhere in the 60s now. I'm going to find all of them, and I'm going to do all of them.
Yeah, I realized the other day I hadn't done the Sidonia Mine Quest.
Oh, wait, the Red Tape Blues one?
Probably. I don't remember what it's called.
Is it a 3-parter with red tape in the name and you have to start working for the governor and stuff? That's one of my faves there.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't done that one.
Mm.
I haven't really done anything except for the Fetch the Magazine quest. And that was because I just needed some quick money before I figured out how to make more faster.
And you did all the Vanguard stuff connected to the area, right? The Vanguard quests?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those ones are good. A lot of detail there. And Lee mentions that he has a quote from that guy. Someone has to use up all the oxygen they produce. And the guy's last name was Benjamin. So Lee remembered the name. Nice. Very good. And so Lee asked, so this guy or Phil, which is the bigger nerd? Yeah, Yeah, no, Lee was not the bigger nerd, but he asked, is this guy or Phil the bigger nerd? So Phil is the guy who works for List. He's the secretary for List that you can meet at any of the watering holes or bars on, on a station or two and on various planet locations. And few people hadn't actually met him. We were talking about, where to sell your data. You can sell your planet survey data to Vlad. You can also sell to Phil from List. Well, Sillior hadn't met Phil. And I'm like, oh, you haven't met Phil? And so I dropped in a picture of the page from 30 Rock because Phil is basically that guy. I'm forgetting his name, but he's like that guy kind of crossed with Seth Meyers. Anyway. So yeah, which is a bigger nerd? This guy, definitely. Yeah, Phil's actually kind of cool. I kind of like him.
I want to be in this. So
that's, if you have access to Vlad, he is the one that you sell data to because he gives you twice as much as everybody
Definitely
else.
The most. Mm-hmm.
If you don't have access to Vlad, i.e., you drop Vasco off at the lodge and then leave and never come back, then you can sell it to anybody. Any of the general vendors will pay you for it, and that clown doesn't give you any more. He will enlist you to recruit people to join List, but he doesn't give you a better deal on your data.
No. But he definitely, he'll pay for it. I feel I get some satisfaction from doing that. Also, I have recruited a number of people for a List besides the initial stuff. So as part of the quest, you have to. But as you're walking around various locations, you might hear some people talking about needing a change and being a little bit dissatisfied with, I don't know, I just feel like I'm kind of stuck in a dead end. I really need to get out there and do something new. You hear these conversations. If you overhear them, you can walk up to people and you can say, hey, I couldn't help it over here. They're like, dude, that's creepy. Why are you coming up on the conversation? You're like, no. I just happen to work with a place called List. And then you hand them a brochure. And you're like, I think you would do great settling on another planet. And then you do a little persuade mini game. And if you do well, they're like, you're right. And you get credits for being a good Amway salesman. Yeah, you're basically a recruiter. It's kind of a timeshare sort of deal. I don't know what I get out of it besides a few credits, but hey, it works. So anyway, in Starfield, I did all that. Yeah, I worked on ships some. I did a lot of flying and exploration and pictures and just winnowing down those quests. So that's been great. A few nights over the course of the week, but it's funny. My plans were a little bit disrupted. Anyone who listened to last episode, they might have heard the intro tagline that Andrew added that I realized as soon as we finished recording, I'm like, oh my God, you guys, breaking news. There's going to be an announced trailer tomorrow for the Fallout TV show. Right. Because we'd speculated on the show that, there could be, because I knew there was the CCXP presentation around 1 p.m. Brazilian time on Saturday. And I'm like, well, maybe they'll show us something around the same time. There should be a trailer out of that or something. I didn't know that they were actually going to air it separately for us. And it turns out they did. So we finished the show. There was that big announcement. I'm like, oh my goodness. So, and I was up, after the show, I was up late doing the stuff like usual. And then I was getting ready for bed. And I'm like, I could just stay up 2-3 hours and actually watch that with people. And so I did, but it was a big old trick. So Tired Jess is logging in at what time was it? 10:20 a.m. Eastern. And we're like, there's a big old countdown. Everybody's excited. The countdown finishes and presented by Vault Tech, and another countdown for an hour starts.
Of the TV screen thing, the what is that called? What is that, like the Indian head or the
whole please stand by?
Yeah, the please stand by. What is that? The please stand by screen, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's essentially what we call it. There might be another name: test pattern, broadcast test pattern.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. But that's probably the colored.
Lee agrees.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so yeah, there's another countdown, and I'm like, oh my goodness, am I really staying up for this? Because at this point, we don't even know what's happening. Because essentially the tweet said, tune in for a very special announcement from Vault Tech, and people are like, what can it be? And the assumption is it has to be a trailer. Okay, but it could be anything. So we're there, and there was an announcer that came on and said, we're about to let you in, and we are going to show you the newest Revolution from Vault Tech. And he's in front of, there's a picture of 33 there. You're outside, you're going to get let in the vault. And so he's slowly starting trying to let us in. Well, technical difficulties. He's like, I don't know why it's not opening. And so he starts vamping and then talking this and that. And over the course of an hour, he's getting more and more panicked because, like, why isn't it opening? What's going on? What's going wrong? And it was a fantastic hour-long one-man soliloquy. The guy who did it was John Daly. The time we're like, having to wait for this. People, so many people. No, I don't think so. John Daly, the actor. But we didn't know who it was at the time. So, everybody's there like, wait, what's going on? Why are we doing this? Why are we waiting? And people kept popping in. More and more people popping in, and it grew, people watching. And, we're all there chatting on the side and trying to keep ourselves entertained. But it was actually really amusing. Like, he did so well. I could not believe that an hour of people sitting there waiting to watch something and just kind of like, what's happening? Are we going to get in? Are we going to see something this entire time? And then finally, we were actually really amused. By the end, he made friends with Arnie, who I think I didn't know if he was an actual person there or like he was just talking to somebody, his producer or something maybe. But yeah, it was hilarious. So we got in, it opened up, and we're like, what if all of this is just for a 15-second trailer? Well, it was not 15 seconds. It was probably close to a minute. I actually don't know exactly how long it was. I've watched it a bunch of times now, but couldn't tell you it was 45 seconds or a minute, but it wasn't that long. But it was glorious. So at this point, you all have seen this trailer multiple times yourself, right?
Oh, yeah, it was juicy.
I don't think I've actually watched it all the way through.
Okay, well, it only takes about a minute.
I need to do
so
that.
It's well worth it. Yeah, we've linked it up in Discord and on the Facebook and everywhere. But fantastic to get a real trailer. So juicy. We got all kinds of tidbits that we hadn't, because we'd seen the pictures. The Vanity Fair article covered a lot, but this really connected the dots with Lucy, with some stuff in the vault, the tumult there, her leaving, the town we talked about, Philly, just a lot of little things and some mysteries too. The voiceover was great. Michael Emerson's character, Wilzig, right? The enigmatic researcher Wilzig, as he was called, just had some great lines. He's one of my favorite actors. So that was excellent to see. We got to see lots of dog meat too, which that was a joy, having a dog meat in the trailer.
Yeah, for sure.
It's okay. Clint says it's 2:34, 2 minutes, 34 seconds. See, it flies by. I didn't realize it was that long. That's even longer than I thought. Anyway, it was gorgeous. And of course, after watching the trailer, I was so hyped I couldn't sleep. So I say that to say that my sleep cycle was really off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, because I'd stayed up like 20 some hours, 24 hours. And, like I do, but it was unplanned this time. I've been better. I thought I was going to be good, but if you have two choices in life, one of them is, get regular sleep and see the new Fallout TV show trailer after everyone else. And the other one is be a zombie, but get to be there when it happens.
And is your life more rewarding now? Oh, Benjamin Linus, look. Hey, I'm if you can't tell, I'm watching the trailer right now.
Benjamin Linus is Michael Emerson, who I was talking about. Yeah.
Michael Emerson. Okay. Sorry.
His character from Lost was Benjamin Linus, right?
I'm such a dick. I don't know any actor's real name. I always call them by their character names. So some Brotherhood. Cool. It looks really... the power armor looks pretty sweet.
Isn't that power armor awesome? With the four of them walking together.
Oh, is that dog meat with the hand in his mouth?
Yep.
He's not long. He's not shaggy enough. He's more
dog
like,
meat found something.
He's more like Rex.
He's a good-looking German Shepherd. He is not as fluffy as some dog meats. It's true. But he's more fluffy than dog meat in 3.
The ghoul skin isn't as wrinkly as I thought it'd be. He's a little smooth.
That is, if people have complaints about the trailer, which Of course, there are always people who have some, but generally speaking, it has tone and visuals and everything so good. It's that, his face is a little bit smooth. He's kind of, like I mentioned, they're going for the Fallout 4 Hancock look, but they also mentioned in the Vanity Fair article that, his face and his expression is part of his instrument as an actor. So they don't want to, cover him too much, which I get. You also have to figure you're seeing him in like the bright sunlight there looking up. So it's going to wash out the depth to some of the wrinkles. He may actually appear more wrinkled in certain lights and scenes.
Yagua is fucking badass looking, right?
Isn't that Yagua awesome? I'm glad you're watching this.
Yeah, that's fun.
I've watched it so many times and some breakdowns and stuff like that. I have my own thoughts on a lot of things, but
so what's the deal with this plant with the fingers in its mouth? What's the deal with that thing?
That creature has a lot of people consternated because it's a new creature that we haven't seen before, but is it derivative? So there are some people thinking, oh, it's a type of gulper. I'm like, maybe it's a type of gecko since they're kind of, out west near where the geckos are. And then others, just calling it an axolotl because it does. It looks like a mutated axolotl. So.
Oh, that's funny. I thought it looked like a plant. I thought it looked like a giant Venus flytrap.
Yeah, well, once you're in close, it kind of does. But no, he's a creature.
It is a creature. Mobile.
Yeah.
Mobile.
But those finger look appendages in its mouth are extremely creepy.
Those phalanges.
Yeah. So that, and some people were unhappy they didn't see any NCR, but anyone who's been paying attention to leaks and the story so far and the actual characters listed, we know the NCR has a presence there. So do not fear. Do not fear, Fallout fans. We've even seen NCR flags and insignia here and there. So we'll see how it goes in the story. I actually have a feeling that the majority of what we've seen in these trailers and leaks are just from the first 2 episodes. Now, maybe a little bit more as you go deeper in with the, the person carrying the briefcase. You got the one scene with the person running away with the briefcase. You don't recognize who that is at all. And then you also see probably Wilzig and Dogmeat running away when that turret shooting, the please stay calm turret. But it could be somebody else we don't know carrying a briefcase too. And we know that the crux of the storyline, kind of going back to that whole Fallout 1 thing of maybe looking for a Gek. We don't know what it is, but they said an artifact that could change the balance of power in the wasteland. So, I mean, Ray, you've seen it. Like I said, it's juicy. Do you have any, I know we're getting into it early, but any real thoughts on this you needed to share?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've kind of tried to not do, I hate speculating.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's, when you really let yourself go, you can come up with so much better stuff than you actually get. And so it's super, super disappointing when it's not exactly what you thought it was. So I'm content just waiting to see what they came up with instead of, fabricating, things in my head that will eventually cause me,
connecting the dots and filling in. Yeah. I mean, what we did get though, just talking about what we did get was pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Great visuals, super, everything looked really good. Which, really bodes well for the story because, one of the things that you run into is that if visually, if it's distracting, if it's not quite right, then you're going to focus on that all the time and not on the story.
Yeah.
When it's as sharp as it is, when things look as good as they do, you're completely focused on the story. And, that's when it becomes the richest for me.
It's like Austin Powers. If a guy has a big old mole on his face, you're just like, mole, no matter what he's saying, and so if the power armor is like way off, something's way off. Yeah, we're going to focus on it. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was juicy. The controversial things, pardon me. Cooper is the character's name. And they just call him the ghoul. But the ghoul's makeup, some people feel is a little bit shallow, not seeing the NCR. And then of course the one-eyed vault overseer teacher. Vault dweller?
I was going to ask, does that guy have a unibrow or just one eye or what was up with that?
It's not quite connected in the middle. It's close to a unibrow, but not quite in the middle. And that is something that bears explanation. So people are kind of upset because it's a mutation we haven't seen before, specifically in the game that I know of. And, but at the same time, could be mutation for any reason. Yes, he's in a vault, but it could be Vault 32 because we have seen leaks showing Vault 32 as well as 33. So he could be in a different vault. It could be a vault that had some kind of genetic experience like that. Some people are joking with saying inbreeding, but no, I don't think so. It could be just a lot of radiation exposure. Some vaults opened early. Other vaults have stayed closed for 200 years, but some vaults open pretty quickly. So who knows the story there? And then, others are saying maybe hallucination. So all kinds of possibilities. Like Ray said, we don't want to speculate about that stuff. We'll see when we get there.
I'm sure you've told me this 100 times already, but how long after bomb drop day does this take place?
219 years about?
219.
It's going to be 2296, which is 9 years after Fallout 4. And since we're on the West Coast, 13, 14 years after New Vegas.
Okay, so it's after 4 still. And all right, fun.
And taking place around the
sensor around. Oh boy.
Yeah, around the LA area, but I mean, we don't know. It could cover a broader area. We know Cooper the Ghoul is going to be kind of our conduit to the past since he was pre-war. You see him pre-war and up to now. So he's lived through all of it, seen a lot. He may have traveled, so he may see other regions a bit. It is talking about 3 stories coming together. And yeah, I will see a lot. Oh, one of the coolest things too that I didn't know about until this trailer. Vault 33, while it is near the Boneyard and the LA area, it's actually at Santa Monica, which, I mean, California people, are familiar with that is, but that's about what? Would you say like 35, 40 minutes outside of LA proper? Maybe 30?
I have no idea.
I mean, with traffic, it's, LA is very close to the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And Santa Monica is one of the beach areas of LA proper.
Right.
Right. So it's really close to downtown.
Yeah, I've been there, and I'm thinking, but when I've been there, I didn't drive. I went by bus and public transportation a couple of times when I've been there, and we were a little bit north of downtown, which is why I thought maybe it's a little bit further. But yeah, so it's pretty nearby, but on the water. And
in LA, it takes 30 minutes just to go across to the next block.
It can, for sure. It just looked so neat. The Santa Monica Pier and the area all bombed out and desolate. The visuals in this, I tell you, it takes a lot of the design and style from Fallout 4 and 76. The super duper marks, the look of the armor, a lot of the individual objects. But the cinematography and feel is so Fallout 3 in New Vegas and even Fallout 1, like just huge swaths of desert and bones in the sand, and everything telling a story and just like a solitary farmhouse in a field of like sand and nuclear winter drift. I mean, it's awesome. But you just saw it, Andrew. Any thoughts from what you saw? I know you probably weren't able to listen because I was rambling on.
I didn't hear the trailer, so I don't know if that experience of seeing and hearing it the first time is different than your first experience. You know what I mean? Like if you had like headphones on and were listening really carefully as you're watching, like, did you?
You'll get a little bit from the sound design and from what people are saying. Yeah,
fun sound design, that sort of stuff. Cool.
But the visuals alone are really cool.
Mr. Handy?
Yeah, like the Mr. Doctor, Mr. Handy. They're pushing the medical cart and stuff. I imagine that's in the vault.
I'm thinking stuff is looking pretty sweet. What do you guys think? The power armor, is that a guy with a little the balls all over his face and the green screen, or is that practical real armor work?
It appears practical because we saw them on stage with it at the Game Awards, which also just happened yesterday.
Oh, nice.
When they came out on stage to present the Best Adaptation Award, since hopefully they'll be getting it next year, fingers crossed. But they were presenting that award at the Game Awards, and they were accompanied by a guy in power armor that was practical, that looked very similar. And plus, we've seen shots, so yeah, I think it's pretty much all practical from what we've seen. But cool. Some they might enhance it.
Looks pretty damn amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty heavy duty. That picture and those vertibirds are so sweet. And the Cass went on, the Pridwin looking airship. That is sick. There are a couple things there that indicate that the base they're at could be Navarro too, which if it's Navarro, that would be interesting because, Navarro has been, it was Enclave back in Fallout 2 and then was taken over by the NCR for a long time. But if Brotherhood of Steel are staging there, that would mean switched hands again. And since it's kind of north and coastal north, that would make sense too, because like I was saying last week, we don't know the state of the Brotherhood at this point. Yes, the NCR had essentially beaten them back, but they may have had a resurgence. And also the stuff we're seeing from the Brotherhood could be outside of NCR territory. You know what I mean? They're probably not right down, the Boneyard proper or, the NCR primary area around, Shady Sands and all that is, as we know, a little bit north and east. You know what I mean? It's not right on the coast. Yeah, they control that area, but from what we know, their headquarters and all that stuff is a little bit inland. Anywho, that was what I did and what threw off my gameplay time a bit. So good amount of Starfield. Yeah, I'll have more to report on. So Fallout. Did I play Fallout? Of course I did some. But my only Fallout play this week was 76. I'm sorry, Andrew. Not enough shelter. I'll do better next week.
Come on, do better. Hey, one last Fallout TV show thought before you move on from that. I like that the poster, if you look at it, the person going out of the hole of the vault, the gear is sort of like pulled to the side and away and shadowed on both sides, and the carnival and then like whatever town in the distance form like eye sockets, and then like some sort of like fence work forms like the teeth, so it's like leaving the vault looks like a death skull.
It looks like a skull. Yeah, those 4 promo posters. So cool. There's so much that's so cool, and I barely touched on everything in the trailer.
Good job, guys. That's really funny.
Graphic design, but also you look at those locations, like, oh, these are all going to be locations in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there are secrets. There's secrets there. I love it.
Yeah, the guys over at Eats they were really stoked about that poster.
There wasn't.
I didn't see anything from the Eat group.
Like their logo.
That's awesome.
There wasn't a Ferris wheel at Prim, right?
There's a giant roller coaster. But we have Ferris wheels in 76.
Yeah.
And I mean, Point Lookout would have one. And I think there've got to be a few others.
The vault suits look a little weird or baggy
Nuka
or
World,
something,
of course.
Right?
Pardon?
I said the vault suits look like a little weird or baggy or something, right?
They're a little bit more practical. I assume they didn't want to put everybody in Lycra for the shoot. You know what I mean? If they're going to be wearing them day in, day out, working in them all day, and it's possible that some people didn't want to be ogled in them too. So I like the compromise of the slightly more practical vault suit personally.
They're more of mechanic jumpsuits than
Yeah, kind of in between, right? They're not as loose as some of the jumpsuits that we get in the game, but they're not as tight as your classic vault suit spandex. Oh. There are so many cool vault dwellers that we already saw. And they have names. Some of them have names, like blonde fork girl with the fork in her face shooting up the vault, which, by the way, it looks like she's outside, but she's actually in the cornfield that's set inside of that vault atrium there, where they're maybe growing experimental corn. Yeah, but her name is Steph. All these characters have Steph. There's a bunch of them with names, and there's probably going to be a whole story there. I'm guessing. Sorry, Ray. I was done. I can't believe I'm back on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because her brother's going to stay behind in the vault. We're going to get some of the vault story with him while she's out. We're getting her story out in the wasteland. Silly Earth says, I'm guessing people don't want to look like Miranda in Mass Effect. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Lee says, imagine people have names. Okay, look. Every little thing I'm excited about. I'm just saying that they might have a backstory, But yeah. So I did play some Fallout this week. It was 76. We did get the update. Talked a bit about the update and everything coming with the new season, all that. We'll get into a little bit more in Iguana bits. But long story short, there is the new expedition. It came out. And there's more to it than we realized. People were asking, is the new level 20 boost, the little head start kind of thing when you start a new character in the vault, is that going to be active? Yes, it is. Yeah, so you can do that now. You can start a new character, starts right at level 20, a few items and a few selected perk cards to kind of get you on the right path for your play style, for your character. That is in there. Also, one thing I didn't know about is we knew they were adding a few new locations around the map, and some locations have changed. But there's more in kind of the starter area of the forest than I expected. So in the forest, obviously when you leave the vault, we've always had Gilman's lumber mill, and then of course since Wastelanders go down to the Wayward and Flatwoods and all that. But generally speaking, it's empty space. Alpine cabins, treetops. People. That's not called the treetops, but the hunters' rest area there. Then Point Pleasant. Like there's not a whole lot happening now. Gilman's lumber mill is taken over by the responders, so they've got a base there. There's a new guy Lane who. Does every new responder have to be so obnoxious? Okay, I'm guessing that I don't think either of you have probably played the new content yet, or have you started on the new season, Andrew?
New content. We actually have like real new quests.
Well, no, just the new stuff that came. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. There's not quests, but there's new dailies, for instance, with this guy I'm talking about.
No, I don't think I have done anything like that. Just the new expedition. I haven't seen any of the new.
And I'm not even asking Ray because he's on score retirement.
Yeah.
And I know he'll log in to check it out at some point. In fact, we're going to make him, but that's a whole nother story. But
saw someone post about new locations around the vault and stuff like that.
So
there's been
that's
new update.
There's
I guess
more there than I expected. So you've got Gilman Lumber Mill with the responder setting a base there, and he's a new point that's going to give you a bunch of different dailies around the area, which is great for newer vault dwellers looking for low level content who's not just going to do the Wayward, Hither and Yon, or the original quest. But places he sends you and stuff in the area. So the cultists have set up a location there in the Oregon Caverns. There are like 3 entrances to the Oregon Why is it called the Oregon Caverns? I don't know. Maybe there's an Oregon there, but I'm picturing like, entrails. Anyway, there are 3 different entrances to this cave system under the area by the vault for all these cultists. Then the Brotherhood have a forward base there, a little bit to the west. And Raiders have a new location up near, on the way to the fairgrounds, but a little bit closer. I forget the name of the actual transmitter station, A117V or whatever it is. But near that transmitter station there where you do Leader of the Pack. And they've got a new place, I think, called the Coop or something. So you've got each of the major factions. Oh, and the Blue Ridge Caravan have a warehouse there. Okay, I was exploring the whole area to see what was new. So way more than I expected. And essentially, they're introducing you to all the major factions just in that starter area now. So new players don't feel like, oh my God, this map is so huge. Where do I go? What do I do? You can actually find stuff to do right in that area, which I thought was really a cool touch.
I wouldn't have thought of that. That is pretty nice to get at least an introduction to each of the different groups.
Yeah, like a microcosm of, what the game's going to kind of be.
Yes.
And then, of course, the new expedition. So some of our friends have done a bit. We were talking in one of our Xbox chats, like Nana Janet and Alex. And a bunch of our friends have been running them, of course. I have only... Confession, I've only done one. It's only been out 3 days, guys. I apologize. I'm not an expert on it yet. I wanted to explore the map and see some of this new stuff first. So I will obviously do a lot more, and there are a couple. So there's the, this what is it called? The Sensational Show or something, and then there's Tax Evasion. Are the two new expeditions. The area is cool. It is a bit more so far to start out just the pit than some people were hoping. There's more to it. There's the new factions. There's new locations. It's a bit more open, but the actual, more NPCs, more explorable area, and all that will be coming in the second half of the update. Like I was saying, the Greatest Showman, it's called. Right? I apologize. So, one of the factions are the Showmen, and I'm just looking it up. Make sure that's actually the name right now.
I kind of want to pat myself on the back for last week me mocking them by saying, oh, there's going to be some other humanoid zombie thing. It's not going to be Trogs. It's going to be like the Grots or something. I forget.
It was
what
the overgrown. Yeah. Creature
But
from the Black Lagoon.
it's the same exact goddamn thing.
Creature from the Black Boardwalk.
They're the trogs with a little twist on their skin. It's crazy.
So I was essentially right. It's called the most sensational game. So not the sensational game, but the most sensational game. In case you didn't know. And tax evasion. So they're fun. Their characters. They are what I've seen so far has been good because I've only run one, but I've watched friends do them a number of times on Twitch while I was maybe playing Starfield or working on other things. But
I haven't done a ton of them yet, but I get the feeling that it's not quite as difficult as the pit.
it's a little bit more open, but there are some steps to it. There's a story to it. Right now, the biggest issue is that while it works most of the time, there are a couple times where you hit a certain point, something has to happen.
Yeah.
You might need to search a body. You might need to find something on somebody. You enter an area, someone's supposed to show up, and that's not always happening. So we have heard people that I'm not going to say bugging out half the time, but maybe 1 in 5 have been bugging out for people. And that's a bit.
That's
Clinton chat says,
high.
It's okay, Jess. I'm playing Starfield while listening to you guys. So there we go. And yeah, they're not nearly as difficult. People have soloed them. Sillior soloed them. The one I did, I soloed too. So, but I can't wait to see all the permutations. And just like with the pit and the way that, one time you may be doing rad barrels, the time you may be looking for code or key carriers, that sort of thing. This is the same. There's a bunch of different optional objectives. So it's kind of neat like that. You get a variant every time you go. You may not see everything there on the first couple trips.
Yep. And I was actually excited to not see every day the dailies include a challenge that was like, go to the new thing, do the new thing, come do the new thing.
You don't have to do trogs every day.
Kill 10 trogs, kill 10 trogs. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so the tax evasion mission and the greatest show mission, I think tax evasion is probably the easier, quicker one. I think it's the union dudes. I think tax evasion is union dudes. And the other one, the most sensational show, is more like Ashes to Fire. You know what I mean? Slightly longer, more enemies and such.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both decent. And you guys are going to find it in person because, yes, people, we are going to do an expedition again on the show. We're going to do it live. We're going to walk you through, which means I have to do several before next show. So I actually do get to know how everything works. And we're going to stream it again. So next week for the Fallout feed, if you're a live listener or you just want to pop in and become one, come in and join us. And we're going to stream the expedition. So that should be great.
Back by popular demand, we just couldn't, withstand the requests of everyone in the audience. Say we're waiting with bated breath for you three to stream your.
We need to know what not
Atlantic
to do, you
City.
guys. So please demonstrate.
Please get Ray with a controller in his hands ASAP.
Gonna be great. So yeah, that's our plan for next week. We'll see how it goes. It'll be fun. But that's been my gameplay basically between all that stuff. And I've been doing more parade videos little by little and putting them out on YouTube. So did another 4 this past week. That's the other thing I was up to. And just having fun with my gameplay. And that TV trailer. I'm excited, y'all. And the Game Awards. Oh my goodness. It's been a fun week.
How many times did you watch the trailer? Be honest.
I don't know, but it might only be like 11 or 12. Like it might not have been that many. If you say be honest, somewhere between 10 and 20 and median probably 12 to 15.
All right, be even more honest. What is the trailer that you have seen the most times in your life?
Trailer specifically.
Which movie were you so stoked for that you just watched that trailer over, or video game? It doesn't necessarily have to be a movie.
Oh, God, you put video game in there.
Video game
the Starfield
trailers?
trailer or Fallout 76 or 4 trailer, obviously.
Yeah.
Right?
You've watched
But-
those like tens or hundreds of times.
Hundreds. Well, high tens.
Yeah.
How about you, Ray? You have a trailer?
trailer you've seen the most times, Ray?
No, because they're all going to cap out at 3 or 4.
Yeah, and the ones you see the most are because Hulu or something is putting it in your face every time you try to watch something. You're like, I'm just logging in to watch. Oh my God, this trailer again. That's probably the real answer is whatever they advertise me the most.
Roku's taking care of that. I love the new Roku feature, where it lists the shows that you're watching, your current most recently watched shows at the top of the interface, so you don't even have to go into the individual apps to get to the shows.
Oh,
So
wow.
you don't get trapped watching stupid trailers
Now,
that autoplay.
now, Ray, how do you make that appear? Because it was on our living room TV for a week, and I was like, "This is the greatest update to Roku ever," and then it disappeared one day, and we haven't seen it anymore.
Oh, really? Mine continued.
It's not. It used to be on both of our TVs, and it disappeared on one, and then the other the next week. I'm like, whoa,
Huh.
why would they
Oh, that
unupdate
sucks.
that?
Yeah, that's torture right there.
Yeah, to let
you know
to
that
let
they
you
can do
see the most beautiful thing ever, and then snatch it away.
That's horrific. That's like an ad-free option being taken away. It's
Yeah,
rumor has it that, talking about Fallout coming to Prime and other things, people are like, more things are adding ads back in if you pay and then adding a higher ad-free tier. So like Hulu, when I was a Hulu watcher, I actually did ad-free Hulu. It was worth the extra, $4 a month or whatever, totally, to not have ads. But right now with Prime, you only get ads on, it's one of their specific, they've got their own, Freevee, that's it. They also have the Freevee service. So half the shows they show are Prime and half the shows they show are Freevee. And the Freevee stuff has ads. And, rumor has it they're going to start doing to everything because your Prime subscription isn't covered anymore.
Yeah, if they put the Fallout show on Freevee, I'll be furious.
I think it's it's an original, so it'll be on theirs. But they are, rumor has it that they're thinking about adding ads, and so we'll have to pay more to get no ads. I just hope it's few. I hope it's less. But yeah, other trailers I watch the most, probably honest trailers and honest game trailers because that's the best. How about you, Andrew? You got a trailer? Did anything come to mind that you asked a question?
if I had to think about it, it'd probably. I'm a super big fan of the Alien movie series, and so when Prometheus was coming out, I was just really interested just to see what it was going to be. So I watched that trailer a lot and closely, and was trying to pick out details and just to see, what sort of continuation of the universe is going to be in this new one, because it's the original director returning for his triumphant. And then I was just like, what is this movie?
Now that you say that, that makes sense. And yeah, we actually saw the trailer a lot too. But now you made me realize the real answer. The trailer I have watched more than any other was for the Day of the Doctor special, the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. I have never watched the trailer as much as I watched that trailer deliberately. Like not in my entire life.
Tell me about that. What was it, a 50th anniversary?
Yeah, the 50th anniversary special back in 2013?
Did they bring back all the surviving doctors or something?
We had a bunch of them. Christopher Eccleston wasn't the 9th Doctor. We had the 10th, 11th, and 12th Doctors. And then at the end, there was a bit of a cameo where you saw more. But it was excellent. And then there was a really cool special preview part of the trailer, like an extended version, a little vignette where the 8th Doctor made an appearance, which was super cool. Paul Cornell, because he was only in the TV movie from 96. And so having him pop in, it was awesome. And whenever you hear me say something like blah, 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 but maybe not the one you're expecting, I'm actually referencing that because when he pops up, he's like, I'm a doctor, but probably not the one you're expecting. So that's actually why I say that phrase too often.
There's no way I would have caught that.
Little Jess lore there. Yeah. People shouting out Tom Baker. Oh my goodness. Yes, Tom Baker was in it too. Absolutely. As the curator, possibly a face that you know.
Dumb Doctor Who question. are the doctors in the show referred to as these numbers that people use, or is that just nomenclature that the fandom uses outside of the show?
They do refer to it only in his 12th incarnation, his 5th incarnation. Like that phrase, the something something incarnation, is used a few times, but very sparingly. Otherwise, they're all just the Doctor.
Okay, so that's just the way fans refer to them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because doctors Time Lords have regenerations. We don't know that even all Gallifreyans do, but Time Lords do.
Whoosh.
Over your head. But yeah, so, that was my gameplay. And that was also my tangent 1 and tangent 2 and possibly 3.
Let's get into 8 more tangents. Hey, Ray, are you going to talk about Starfield?
Most likely, yeah. You want to wait and push me off?
No, I have a Starfield question for you. I didn't actually play any Starfield, but I have a Starfield thought. The powers that you get that aren't like, from those weird rooms, those temple rooms.
Right.
Is it a viable play style to kind of just use those only as attack methods and be like a mage? You know what I mean? Do like sort of a weird mage temple only playthrough? Because I was thinking about trying to do something like that. Would that be possible?
I have not gotten all of the powers, but the ones that I did get, nothing was really damage dealing.
Do you always need to damage in every situation? Can't we find peaceful ways to resolve our differences, Ray?
To some extent, I suppose you could.
Use the sneak thief method instead.
No.
Hey, Ray, I'm finally putting points in leadership. I finally made it far enough on the social train, like level 62 now, that I'm putting points in leadership. I'm pretty psyched.
Nice.
That means I can have more companions on my ship. Awesome, right?
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
You should try it too.
I have all the. I do have crew. I've got 3 crew on my bounty hunter.
Don't tell me like astrodynamics operator.
Well, one of them is Vasco, because this character doesn't do anything naughty. One of them is the doctor, so that my infirmary works.
I forgot Vasco rats you out.
Yeah. And the third one is a woman that I picked up in Aquila City, maybe because she helped me with EM weapons.
Oh, was it the doctor?
The doctor I got in Aquila City. Where did I pick? I don't know. I've got some woman that's always really happy to see me. Every time I get on the ship. But that character is going along quite well, but I was doing a lap around Serpentis, and so I can still get a level. If I get enough of the 3 ship battles in the circle, then I can get a level with just 1 lap around Serpentis.
Can you really? Mm-hmm. Now, when you say 1 lap around, you mean every planet? So like all 5 moons at like Serpentis 7 or whatever, then wow, so I did go back there because I needed to get a couple levels, which is how I got to where I am now at 62, I think. And it's still, I guess that's about right. Yeah. Even at this level, 10 to 15 fights.
If you end up with a bunch of 1 and 2 ship battles, then it's going to be slower. You'll have to go around more than once.
I was doing it to see if
you get a bunch of 3s, then you're good.
I was doing it to see if any Starborn showed up. Like now that I have them unlocked, I haven't had any Starborn show up yet, but that would be cool. That's what I'm trying to see if I can make that happen. And I have had, like some of the random ones are fun. When you're into fleet or when you run into spacers. And it's when you run into spacers, they're going to try to, you know, pirate you first. They're not going to immediately attack in a lot of cases.
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty sweet one. I love getting that one because if you attack the first ship, the one that hails you, before they have a chance to go hostile, then the other ships that are accompanying them don't go hostile, so they stay blue.
Oh, wow.
So you can capture that hyena, the first one that goes after you, hop in, hop out, then go to the next one, attack them, then only that one ship gets hostile, the other one doesn't. So you
Oh,
can attack
wow.
them, take that ship, and then go attack the third and take that one. So you can steal three or commandeer because
Right.
they're the instigators. You
Who
can
pirates the pirates? You do.
so so you can grab three ships in one event. So that I love it when I get that. But the key is that you have to hit that first ship immediately.
Really
Um,
hard before it can turn
just
orange red.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, as soon as you shoot it the first time, it turns red. But as long as you started it, the other
Hmm.
two don't join in. If you wait until they hail you and then, then you have to either, talk to them, or if you dismiss it, then they all go aggro on you. But if you just attack them right out the gate, as soon as you see them appear, then they only go aggro one at a time on you. It's a pretty sweet deal.
That is really sweet. Does it add to your crime though? Like, do they show up as murders or thefts?
Nope. Well, I don't know.
You feel like I don't pay
I
attention
never
to
look
that.
at that. I never look at that. It's
I
it's
feel so
a
guilty. I have eight
they
murders. I'm
don't
like, what did I do?
they don't give you a bounty. That's all you have to worry about. Because then if they do give you a bounty, you have to go, to your outpost with the bounty board, clear your bounty, and then you can go on with your business. But yeah, I love getting that one. But one of the ships that I managed to pick up was a Varun Prophecy 3,
Prophecy 3s are sweet.
which is, I think it's a 588,000 credit ship.
Holy.
It's one of the top, I think it's the third highest.
Wow. Yeah, I would have guessed the highest was in the 300s. I didn't realize they were any that
No,
high.
there's one that's like 650. Um, but it's a triple decker. And so I'm like, oh, perfect. So I swapped out the halves,
Hmm.
and so now I've got 8 brig beds.
That's so many brigs.
It is so good.
You can lock everybody up.
Oh yeah, he just go. It saves inconvenient trips to a settlement to empty out your brigs. Um, so that's been good. But I I wanted to try something. So I started a con man character, which is just an excuse for a bad guy.
Right, totally.
But my goal is to focus on um, the social skills. So getting persuasion and deception and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But in order to start this character out, so I did my typical thing where I go through the tutorial mission and then take Vasco back to the lodge, and then I beat feet. And so with this character in the frontier, I flew to Serpentis
In the frontier?
in the frontier.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So the way that you do it is you take all your weapons out. you are not going to be able to fight anybody. So take all your weapons out, put it all in the grav drive, so that you've got a 1 second grav drive time.
Okay.
So if you get in trouble somewhere, you just immediately just jump somewhere else.
But what do you do when you don't? Like, I mean, when would you not be in trouble in the Serpentis system?
Well, so the first planet that you fly into, well, and really any of them. So if you think about it, when you fly into one of the Serpentis planets, there's like a 15 or 20-second delay.
Right. You discover the planet, you get the XP, and then they show up.
Before the Varun show up.
Mhm.
So, you've got that time. So you fly into the first planet. So my goal was to get to planet 5C. So flew into the first one, then immediately jumped over to 5C, and then immediately landed on the planet.
Okay, you landed on 5C.
Yep. And so once you do that, you're golden. Because that's once you're on the planet, you can skip around on the planet without ever having to go back up into space.
What is it that you want to do on the planet? Like, why is this a goal?
So my goal is to get a high level A-class ship.
Okay.
So because you're in a level 55 system, the ships that spawn there are higher level.
Right,
now,
because every time you land, you get a ship's either going to land or there's already one there, right?
Well, not every time. It's a little harder than that in this, but when you do find a place, then you get a lot of them. So my first test of this, I ended up getting 6 ships. And one of the locations I ended up getting 2 Crimson Fleet Phantoms, I think they're called. They're the ones that they had a 20 power reactor. And I'm level 5.
Yeah, that's a great class A. Oh my goodness.
So the other benefit is that Serpentis 5C, one of the locations that they have there is the collapsed mine.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a collapsed mine on a level 55 planet. And so now I've got an advanced what's the name of the pistol that's a Deadeye? The revolver.
Yeah, the Deadeye. Yeah.
So I've got an advanced one of those, and I also have an advanced hard target, which is the sniper, the 50 cal.
Oh, that's great to start. You got those at a lower level. That's sweet.
Yeah. Plus, when you jump in the mine, there's 2 boost packs and 1 helmet, that always spawn with the dead miners there. And so now I've got an advanced boost pack and an advanced helmet on my level 5 character.
Sweet.
So he's getting kitted out.
I'm pulling up the map right now. I found a really sweet moon, Ray. It was on Nemeria. I think it was Nemeria 2C or 3. Anyway, there's a gas giant, a beautiful gas giant there. There's a moon near enough that the gas giant takes up like a quarter of the sky. And the sun comes on a different angle. So you can get them both in the sky at once. And I think on the right moon, you might even be able to see like a moon and a planet. How many celestial bodies can you get in the sky, right? I just really, really pretty. Sorry, talking about cool planets. It's neat that he mentioned that you're able to get the mine as an opportunity, the abandoned mine, and a few others. That, while there are only so many random spawn locations, like as far as the locations that'll show up on the map, it does vary by planet type, right? Is it like partly by temperature, by population? Like, I don't know if we know how that's determined yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is a frozen planet,
Hmm.
um, or the frozen moon. But the reason why I focus on it is because there's no enemies there.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
because I mean, when I was doing my testing, it was everything I could do to get through and take control of a ship, especially if it was I did it with a couple of Varun hymn ships,
Hmm.
and holy smokes, I died a lot. Because the other thing is that I'm playing on very hard.
You are
Um,
now. Yeah, we talked about that the other day, how you kind of are starting to have to really get that challenge again.
yeah, and the other bonus of very hard is that you get, you know, theoretically you get better loot.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just a lot harder to get there. So I don't go running around to every random building and start taking on um, level 60 pirates, with my level 5 character.
No, no, yeah, that would be that would be a bit much. I mean, the other trick that some people use, which I know you're not, but some people use for farming items, is put it on the hardest difficulty, land, then put difficulty back down, and it will spawn the enemies in the area based on your, difficulty setting when you landed. So you'll get, just like in survival mode or very hard in Fallout 4, what have you, you'll get more legendary items,
Right.
even if you switch the difficulty back down.
Yeah. But holy smokes, they are bullet sponges. When you're shooting them with a grindle that does, 3 damage per shot,
Oh yeah. Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness
it
gracious.
barely makes a mark. Um, so the one thing I forgot to do with this character, I got so excited to get to Serpentis that I forgot to stop at the
The mantis
forward,
on the way.
no, the forward base at New Londinium.
Oh.
Um, because you can go into that forward base and steal all the weapons.
Yeah, because there are some great weapons there in that frozen area. You can
Yep.
get into the. Do they have the Xeno Warfare armor? Can you get a hold of that at that point?
No, that doesn't spawn unless the quest is going.
Okay, so just the weapons, but there are some good ones, and
Yep.
like a helmet case, I think too, and on the side that's pretty decent.
Yep. So it's it's fun, but it is very hard. You have to be okay with dying because you're
Yeah.
going to do it a lot.
Goodness knows we have made our peace.
Yeah.
We have made our peace with resting in peace
Yeah.
after a survival run and playing Fallout 1.
Yeah. The other nice thing is that at the collapsed mine, there's also a case that has grenades and mines in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are a huge help when you're trying to get through one of those big Varun ships. Um, I like to move all of the explosive containers into one spot and then throw a mine next to them, and that's usually enough to do a couple of guys in.
Like running West Tech and
Yeah,
using the bomb method. I assume most listeners have seen that method. People have been using in West Tech for, I mean, I guess really the last 5 6 months. It's become kind of popular, where you can, using just three grenades, you can kind of clear all of West Tech if you put them in the right location.
mm.
Like, it is definitely a way to run West Tech really fast if you're grinding for XP. Not my preferred method, but
I have not seen that, but I am intrigued.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll show you one of these days. But yeah, if you've got a good enough range on the explosives, you can take them all out.
Yeah. So I've updated No Man's Sky, but haven't played the Expedition redo yet. I upgraded or updated Skyrim and completely borked my save.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that whole thing is something we need to talk about too. But how has it worked for you? So you were putting off the update, but
Yeah, well, so I loaded the new SKSE and updated the address library. But still, I got the message that my save was corrupted, and now I can't even get the game to load. So I've got some work to do.
oh wow. Yeah, that is not even getting the game to load. I mean, I know UI mods are causing trouble, especially if you're like on console. If you have any UI mods installed, you're probably going to need to reinstall or change things around. A few others, but I didn't know people on PC were having that issue of not being able to get in at all.
I was also, I had 780 some mods enabled. So
There's that.
so I'm going to have to go back to my vanilla profile and work from there.
Do you even know what vanilla looks like, tastes like anymore?
Yeah, I get into it every once in a while, when I'm working on getting mods straightened out and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, no. I never play in vanilla very long.
See, he's going to go with mods for so long that the original version is actually the thing that's foreign to him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, at this point, what even is that, right? With the Anniversary Edition, we've got 70-some Creation Club items in there now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
so-
and that's like, I can't even imagine at this point. I'm not sure that I could or, would have the patience to play Starfield without mods.
Right. Because, I mean, you swear by Star UI, among other things.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely helps. And I mean, we don't have that yet on console. And even if we're playing on PC trying to get achievements, but soon enough, I'll be back in that area too.
Yeah. So the achievement enabler, the BAKA, BAKA,
Mm-hmm.
seems to be doing the trick now. It, my save files are all showing up. I don't have that weird thing where, I can't see some of the save files.
Oh, good.
And the other day I got this little pop-up in the lower corner of my screen. I'm like, what the heck is that? And it was an achievement notification.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
Oh, great.
Oh,
But-
no. I achieved.
It was just a Steam achievement, though, right? Like it wasn't like an Xbox achievement, was it?
Well, no,
If you're
not an
playing-
Xbox achievement because I'm not playing on Xbox.
No, but if you're playing on PC, you get Xbox achievements if you're using the
Microsoft or
Game Pass
whatever,
version.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
Windows
using the Steam
tracks
version.
you.
I'm sorry, Ray. Is it worse? Is it better or worse than getting score when you're on score retirement?
It's better because it doesn't really. I can easily not tell that I've got achievements.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Steam you have to go specifically look for where that is, and since I never open the game through Steam, I don't have to open that interface, and so I never see that I have how many achievements I have.
Beautiful. Let them happen. You don't even need to know.
No.
But I'm sorry it's worked. So with the new creations marketplace, as it were, which, it came back, it was kind of what we expected, called creations. So Creation Club, creations, and mods are all in one interface. Pretty slick interface. One cool thing for console users, it lets you save a load order finally, which we never had. I mean, we can save whatever load order we have, but that was it. Anything you add or remove, it's added or removed for everything. So if you have multiple saves with different load orders, now you can actually, use that, which is kind of cool. But I don't know. There are possible issues, but I know that a lot of people are finding, on console at least, if you guys run into this issue, that the best way to tackle it is to simply, reload everything. Maybe keep your save, but take and reset up and reload all your mods, because everything you've ever favored is going to be in your library. And it's a bit of a chore to work through. But your save will tell you what, mods you need or what are missing, and you can take a look at that and you can kind of rebuild it and then save it for the future. So yeah, it's some work. I haven't waded through it yet. I just said, does my game load? Yeah, my game loads, and that's as far as I got. I'm sorry, yours doesn't.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. The problem is I keep coming up with stuff to do in Starfield that distracts me. So
it's not
Well, it's
a
like me
dire
working on my new
situation.
computer. It's not all set up yet because, other things to do too.
You guys keep buying new computers.
I mean, I went 7 years, then, last year and this year, but this is it.
I think this recording
now.
station now 11 years old now.
I think we call this foreshadowing, dear listeners, because Andrew will be getting a new computer very soon, I think.
I'm going to smell smoke.
We haven't convinced
billowing
you
on the
yet,
back
but
of the
it's going to
computer.
happen.
At the end of this. All right. What else are you getting into there, Ray?
that's about it.
That's about it. Let's see. My gameplay. Check in real quick here. My shelter was flourishing. I'd gotten to the threshold of my living capacity with everything maxed out. I was at like 84 or 88 dwellers, I believe. And then the tragedy happened, you guys.
Another one?
This was a really bad one.
Oh, no.
Angel is going to appreciate this specifically. And when Angel's brought up, of course, it's got to be in reference to Andrew falling the fuck asleep with a controller in his hand.
You never do that.
No, I don't. I don't know what
Jerry and
Angel's
Angel
talking
never tease you about snoring.
about. No, never. So, like, I wake up and, everything is, pretty quiet.
It's a wasteland.
Pretty quiet.
The Great War happened in your sleep, and the entire vault is
happened?
devastated.
Oh, it was bad. 88 down to 35, you guys.
Yeesh.
I woke
Oh,
up.
wow.
I woke up to 35 dwellers left. I literally don't know what happened if like a death claw came through or if they did. Like I just don't know what happened. I
Andrew?
woke up and everyone was dead.
Would this specifically be on December 1st? I ask because our friend Cosimo put in the Discord 11:55 p.m. He's like, I'm up at 3 a.m. on Fallout, and I see Andrew's in Fallout Shelter.
That might have been that night. That might have been. I don't know when the December 1st was.
Yeah, Shelter's not a forgiving game.
Not in survival. That's
survival.
For sure.
No, if they're dead, they're gone forever. And I was like, well, that was a waste of 2 weeks of special training. Goodbye.
Did you get your Vault 33 jumpsuit in Shelter, by the way?
I have seen people post pictures, but I have not seen it pop up on any of my quests. I haven't seen a special quest pop up, but I haven't also dug in to see any details if it just comes up randomly, if it comes up in lunch boxes, if you get a formula for it. I don't even really know what a recipe.
I think it's
for
a login reward, probably. But maybe it's a recipe, like everything else.
God, I logged in on every goddamn. I've had logged in on the Switch, on the Xbox, on my phone. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it pop yet at all. But the icon has flipped over yesterday from Thanksgiving to today, Christmas. So the Christmas quests shall soon be loaded, no doubt.
That is awesome. Cosmo mentions copying your save games off too. You can do that with USB or something. Find your save games and copy them off.
What, from Xbox I can do that?
Yeah, I know that's not like a Technodunce thing, but I think it's possible. He talked about doing that.
Might prevent that from going through. So other than that, I'm just rebuilding, which is super annoying. Taking the a woman and a man and putting them in the bedroom and going all the way up to fucking 88 down to like 35 was terrible. So, repopulating again. But I added a couple of rooms as it's repopulating because I kind of forgot about this ratio, actually. If everyone dies, you don't need to actually run as many of the rooms because you have fewer people to feed. So it's not like you... It's... When everyone dies, the sympathy of the numbers is with you. I think it's on your side a little bit when... For some reason, when you have 88...
Right, you got stuff all built up, and then now suddenly there's a lot less population. Like, those high-level facilities can more easily feed your lower number of dwellers.
It's just like...
You still have the power problem, right?
But you don't need those rooms to run, necessarily, right? The ones at the bottom half that don't work anymore. I've got everything powered back up, and the population is already back halfway up to like in the 50s now. So I'm slowly getting there. But I just thought that was a humorous, well, horribly unfunny, but to Angel might appreciate me falling asleep there. But speaking of achievements, you guys, I noticed Shelter. Oh, one just popped up here on my Xbox home screen just now. I noticed achievements that I haven't gotten yet popping up. So I was like, oh, I wonder just what I haven't done yet. And it said build one of every room type. And I was just like, oh, gosh, I don't know if I've done that on this. I definitely haven't done it on the Xbox in general. But it's like, have I even done that on my phone? Like, I usually skip some in the middle and make the leap from, like, the early version to the nuclear reactor. So... I was like, well, let's go ahead and shoot for build every room. So this week I added the weapon and the armor plant, so I can finally start making little strength suits and little automatic rifles. I don't have any recipes for anything very good yet. Topping out damage at like 11 or 12, something like that. So nothing terribly impressive to build quite yet. But expanding the vault further down and further down. And I'm interested to finally build. I've got like 3 or 4 more rows that I can build down. And then I'll go over and then start coming up the other side on the right end of the vault space there. So I'm pretty excited to make the turn and start building up. Because it's kind of weird the way I'm building for some reason. Let's see, what else is going on in the vault? The extinction event. Oh, yeah, that's everyone dying. Like I just said, the extinction event. The new vault suit. Yeah, I haven't found it yet. But I have seen a few pictures. Totally cute. Looks like the show. Christmas icon flipped on. Talked about that. Crashing. Oh, my Shelter. Shelter has always been a fucking rock solid game. I've never had crashing issues ever. It's been crashing a lot recently for me in my survival.
On the phone or the Xbox?
On the Xbox, my Xbox survival vault.
Do you think it's just length of time playing, or what's changed, do you think?
No, because it's always happening when a whole room of people dying and remove. On the 6th one, remove, blam, it crashes.
Are you just removing so fast it can't keep up?
I don't know. Like,
is it paying respects to the dead?
It's like, slow down. Let's take some time to respect the people and the sacrifices they made for the vault. No,
in lieu of flowers, send Nuka Quantum. Yeah.
That's a good point. I should be a little more respectful of their. Yeah. Yeah. So my other than that, I've been keeping up with the scoreboard a little bit. I think I'm 18-19 in that ballpark for 76.
Good on ya. It's going pretty quick this time, isn't it? Like last season. A lot of my friends are in the 20 to 30 range already. I am not.
Wow, nice.
4 days with I've just been playing Starfield as we talked about mostly. So.
Yeah. but I haven't seen any of the new stuff. I'm just sort of logging in, doing this stuff. I did go right. I mentioned we went over to the Atlantic City and had a romp over there a little bit. I've gone in there like 3 or 4 different times, done bits and pieces. Oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going on. I just hopped onto this team who was midway through it already. I have no idea what's happening. I'll just run to where the quest markers tell me to go, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't done it like beginning to end to see how it actually goes. You know what I mean? It's I'm always just hopping in and in a weird point, and I'm not sure which one of the two I'm
You haven't run
into.
any yourself, start to finish.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you will next week.
Yeah, they do seem but they do seem slightly. I don't necessarily want to say easier, but they I don't know, might be a little quicker or something. I'm not sure.
A little quicker, a little easier, a little quicker. Yep, you can definitely die. I mean, those overgrown can overwhelm you, especially. But
I mean,
it's quicker.
there's still stuff to go find, but like, I don't think it's as annoying as like going to find those piles of the little metal. The metal junk and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like they don't have anything
for your Ignots, yeah.
They don't have that sort of thing, so I think that's part of the reason it's not as annoying to do. Yeah, but that's pretty much my gameplay. Christmas camp is up and running.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good bit of Fallout for us. There's been talk in the Discord about the next roundtable. Because, we had made noises about Fallout 2.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. When I said Fallout 2 a couple weeks ago, it was just to try to make people happy. Get a new thing started, out of obligation a little bit because, we got to play Fallout 2 someday. A lot of people think it is the superior of the first 2 Fallouts. And it's certainly supposedly the weirdest. And now at this point, it's the only one that in, Tactics I haven't played. So. But... I say that because
is this a hint type thing?
I say that because there's a bit of a groundswell for Fallout 3. Several people bringing up Fallout 3 again.
3?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna jump right over 2?
I mean, we are pretty scattered. It's been 2 years since we did our Fallout 3 roundtable, at least maybe 3 years, and we were watching that video the other day, like, a month ago. And Ray and I were both talking at the time, like, oh, well, kind of makes you want to play some Fallout 3. And people in chat talking about it. But just like with Fallout 4 going back, we're like, well, Fallout 4 Next Gen is coming. Should we go back? Now there's rumors of the Fallout 3 remake, but chances are we'll get Oblivion first if that happens. And we haven't gotten Fallout 4 yet. So let's not count our chickens. I'm just saying, we got to decide. After the holiday, I think we should probably start a new roundtable right at the beginning of January. We just got to decide what.
Did you end up finishing one?
No, I did stop at a certain point in the Boneyard Cathedral area. That was enough.
That was enough.
I had enough.
Oh, she was punished by the experience. So we all were a little bit. Right?
So we should probably skip 2.
I mean, I'm willing for the cause, and I did enjoy 1 as much as I played. It was hard to keep up after a while. It was, I'm not going to say it totally lost my interest because it didn't, but there was just a lot going on. And we've got Fallout London coming out. So, I mean, that's going to be a distraction too when that happens. We don't know exactly when, but.
What if we commission Pip-Boy Steve to make a Starfield random character generator and do a Starfield roundtable?
I think we'd have to change the name of the show because we've been pretty bad the last 2-3 months. It's funny. Another friend in the Discord mentioned the day, like, yes, I'm getting back into Fallout a bit, but I listened to the Fallout feed and they're all Starfield. Of course, we're not all Starfield. We've actually.
Starfield.
It was really just September we were bad, but.
I don't know. The first hour of this show was pretty much Starfield.
Oh, well, and the TV show and other stuff. I feel like we had enough.
So when's the Starfield TV show come out?
Let's see how Fallout does first. Also, we already had that, right? The Expanse happened.
The Expanse. That's the Starfield show. Well, we also had wait, what was that HBO show called with the Westworld? We had Westworld already, so this Fallout 76 or this Fallout TV show doesn't need to happen.
That's true. Yeah, because it's a bit Fallout 4 in some ways with the Institute and all that.
Yeah, with the cowboy robots. Watch out. All right. So what do we got on the agenda? We got a little bit of feedback to get to from Taz. Sent in an email. We've also got game time and some iguana bits to get to tonight and some shouts. So let's.
You want to start with the email?
Email, absolutely. Jess, do you by chance have your email open?
Sure, I can pull it up. 1 second.
Let's see if Taz is continuing his adventure from last week.
This has never happened before. It signed me out.
Oh,
why
bummer.
did Google sign me out? No, it's okay. I'm logging in now. It only takes a second.
I've got it pulled up.
Okay, I have it too. Modded Fallout 4 playthrough update from Taz. Sent just a couple hours ago. Thanks, Taz. Okay. Hey all, Taz here. One of the mods used in the playthrough I'm doing is called Raiders of the Commonwealth, adding new raider types and creatures. Nagisa made her way to Starlight Drive-In and other surrounding areas. She had come across a number of robots fighting each other, and soon she was pulled into battle helping a lone robot which was being attacked. After helping the robot named Ada, Nagisa sent Ada back to Sanctuary Hills as she continues on. Oh, Taz, you started automatron already? Oh my goodness. Okay. Anyway, back to Sanctuary as she continues on. After fighting with a pack of raiders and their tamed Deathclaw, the Deathclaw ran off with Codsworth chasing after it, yelling, I've got a buzzsaw blade with the Deathclaw's name on it. Eventually makes her way to Diamond City and meets Piper and other people, then returns home to Sanctuary Hills. Nagisa started helping Ada battle the enemy called the Mechanist. More to come as things progress. See you all in the wasteland.
Sweet. Thank you so much, Taz. If anyone would like to send in their thoughts about anything they're doing in their gameplay, give us a heads up at the falloutfeed@gmail.com. We'd love to hear what everyone's doing.
Audio feedback like usual, but even just mid, between season feedback like this. So Taz continues to play through with Nagisa. Raiders of the Commonwealth, I haven't done yet. I've seen that mod. I've heard that it adds some really neat Raider characters, factions, and some tougher ones too. So might give that a try someday. And as we talked about, especially in survival, starting automatron early in survival, dangerous. Have you done Raiders for the Commonwealth, Ray? I would think that might be one of your mod packs, maybe.
Woof.
Unless it's just an Xbox one.
No, it's available. I haven't. I don't have this one downloaded.
New Raider types.
Raiders with a pet Deathclaw. Sounds pretty cool.
What?
Mm-hmm.
No, that does not sound cool, Ray.
It does. Does he wear a hat?
Well,
Sorry, I like
be,
Dapper Deathclaws.
He'd be fun at parties, and of course, but
Yeah, the only pictures I see he's dead. So,
oh, that's abuse. That's not nice.
Dead Deathclaws don't wear hats.
Dead men don't wear. Dead men don't wear hats. Is that what that is?
No, it's a classic quote. I don't remember what it is. Dead men don't tell tales is like the saying, but there was a movie. Just like plumbers don't wear ties, apparently. Yes, exactly, Salua. Exactly.
Dead plumbers don't wear pants.
Well, careful. Yeah. So anyway, back to the show. That was our feedback from Taz. Thank you so much, Taz. I want to get into this game, Andrew, because you wrote it Atlantic City Fun Quiz.
Yeah,
now,
the Atlantic City Fun Quiz.
Are you overselling it? Is it a fun quiz?
I hope it's super, super duper fun.
Let's go.
I can't wait. All right. I'm sure my page is refreshed here. Oh, right, here it is. Atlantic City fun quiz. Let's have lots of fun here on
What time is it?
game time. Who? All right, you guys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this isn't really about the competition and who gets more points and stuff. This is just a little bit of fun about Atlantic City. So we'll just bounce back and forth.
The real Atlantic City or Atlantic City in Fallout 76?
Oh, is it not a facsimile of real?
Well, I mean,
City?
It's trying. One thing, so it's funny because it is a limited area. You can't explore that much. Go into the water, you can only swim out. Like, I actually decided I would put on all my rad resistant stuff and what rads, try to swim out in the water as far as I can go. You can only go like 20 feet. You can't even go that far. Or jump up on the roller coaster. But so yeah, it's not the full thing, not the whole Atlantic City.
Now that you mention it, is the pit reflective of Pittsburgh at all? Is there a section of Pittsburgh that looks like that area we're in?
I think they're much more vague on that stuff. Like, I mean, it's got the feel, it's got Pittsburgh vibes, with the buildings and all that. But
right,
yeah, definitely different.
Atlantic City fun quiz. Ray, we'll start with you here, bud.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Question number 1. This super fun pathway was the first of its kind and leads to a carnival, attractions, and casinos.
What is a boardwalk?
A boardwalk, Ray. You win. Jess, over to you. The properties on this quintessential board game use the names of Atlantic City streets.
Monopoly.
Monopoly. Jess, good job. Yes, give yourself a ding. Get a couple dings in there. Ring a ding ding, baby.
Ring a ding, baby.
Ray, back to you, sir. Atlantic City is the home of Freilingers, famous for this salty seaside sweet.
I'm going to take a shot with taffy.
Saltwater taffy, absolutely, Ray. Good job.
Ray got a sound, too.
Good job, Ray. You earned a sound. Jess, back over to you. The original purpose of the boardwalk had a very anti-abrasive purpose.
To help people avoid the sand.
Yes, to keep sand out of hotel carpets. Very good, Jess. That's amazing.
Yes. I have been on a beach. I hate sand, too.
Oh, it's the fucking worst, isn't it? Ray, back to you. And this is our last question of the Atlantic City Fun Quiz. Name the patriotic pageant whose origins go back to an Atlantic City event in 1920 entitled The Fall Frolic. Name the patriotic pageant. You know any pageants, Ray?
I know no pageants. Huh.
Jess, would you like to team up?
Thanksgiving Day Parade?
Ooh,
Wait, this is an Atlantic City thing going on?
A pageant.
a patriotic pageant.
Oh, okay, I was going to say Miss America, probably. What do you
Yes.
think?
I think you should go with that,
sure.
Ray. Yes.
We're going to say Miss America.
Good job, team. Miss America pageant started in 1920 in Atlantic City. So that was a little bit of Atlantic City fun quiz.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
Super fun.
I have here's a pop culture. Here's a pop culture question. I'll give you multiple choice. What is the name of the famous singer who performed at Atlantic City's Boardwalk Hall in 2019 at her first major headline concert in several years? Is it A, Beyonce, B, Britney Spears, C, Kevin Hart, or D, Stevie Wonder?
Gosh,
I just looked up Atlantic City quiz while you're asking us, so I can give you guys one.
Is Stevie playing again? That'd be fun.
I don't know. I can't see him playing. Maybe.
I have no idea. Ray, you got a guess at that? Did Beyonce take a couple years off or something?
Is that your final answer?
I don't have a final answer. I'm tossing out
Queen Bee expert Andrew gets it correct. It was Beyonce.
Beyonce took a couple years off.
See, this is what happens. You look up easy Atlantic City quiz, and besides the one asking about Monopoly, they're actually all pretty hard.
Oh yeah, what's the Monopoly one? Toss out a couple of Monopolies.
Well, it's the same question you had. What's the name of the board game that uses various Atlantic City streets? But here we go. What's the name of the first type of saltwater taffy developed in Atlantic City? Taffy popsicle, taffy candy bar, taffy lollipop, taffy gummy bear.
Lollipop, maybe?
Yeah, I'd go with lollipop.
Some old timey, whatever's the old timiest of those answers.
They say it was actually the taffy popsicle.
Popsicle, okay.
Because taffy on a stick. They called it taffy popsicle instead of taffy lollipop. Who knew?
Not me. Not
exactly.
I, evidently.
This is an example of the fantastic kind of questions you can get when you look up Atlantic City quiz. So I like your fun quiz better, Andrew.
Everyone, rush out and Google Atlantic City quiz and have a great evening.
But make sure to put fun quiz for the best one.
Fun quiz. All sorts of great stuff about the Garden State. You guys ever been to the Jersey Shore? Ray, I think I asked you this last time. You hadn't been to Atlantic City, right?
Yeah, and I've been to Asbury Park, but not Atlantic City.
That boardwalk might as well just stretch all the way down, right? Doesn't it pretty much go all the way to the whole coast of New Jersey?
No, I don't know. It was dark.
7,000 miles. It was dark. You did see a boardwalk?
What is the Great Wall of China? And even that's not close to 7,000 miles, Andrew. I think you're exaggerating just a hair.
Yeah. That's like 10 billion miles long. You guys just don't know.
And I was there for work, but I went to the boardwalk because a friend of mine who's a musician is on the Asbury Park plaque. John Consoli, who used to play in a band, the generation just before, shoot, now I can't think of his name. The boss,
Bruce
Springsteen. Yeah. So Bruce Springsteen was the up and comer when John was, wrapping up his New Jersey stint.
Oh, that's like a pass the torch thing. Very cool. Jess, you ever been out to the Jersey Shore?
I have not. No. I mean, I've been to Jersey plenty, but not the Atlantic City.
Let's all do a meetup. Let's go out to the Jersey Shore, you guys.
Or, and here's an idea. Let's go to a different Fallout location.
Come on. That is a good question. Best location that's happened in a Fallout game to have a meetup.
Oh wow! I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, there is the official one that's happened the last 2 years with the Good Spring one, because as amazing as Boston can be for a meetup with all the history and tours and seeing all that, it can be a little bit, people who haven't been there before. It can be difficult to drive in, and it's a lot of logistics and kind of expensive. Same with the nation's capital. So yeah, Good Springs.
Bar Harbor is lovely this time of
Oh
year.
God, yes. Okay, you win. Definitely Bar Harbor.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Also, it's not lovely this time of year. To
Right.
be frank, it's actually rather nippy.
2, 3, 4 weeks ago, it was just lovely.
Couple of layers, a toque, a scarf. Bundle up.
And yeah, my judgment of what is lovely temperature-wise is not on par with what most people think is lovely.
I'm from there. I like it just fine. But yeah, the ocean in Maine in the winter can be a bit nippy.
Oh man, the wind whipping off the ocean is. Whew.
Silior says West Virginia for y'all. I mean, you're not wrong. West Virginia would be awesome. Greenbrier, perfect location for meetup.
Not too shabby.
Except for all those annoying responders.
Seriously, trashing the place. Now there are more of them. They're like freaking rabbits. Speaking of which, do we have any iguana bits around here? I'm not sure if they're ready. Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your iguana bits are ready. Please come pick them up. Thank you, Jess. Apparently they are. Okay, well, let's head on down, see what we got.
Super smooth, you guys. Good job.
It's almost like it was real. Anyway, here we are. We got a new community calendar. So along with everything for the new season coming up, season 15, The Big Score started, which, by the way, great name. Cool looking board. One thing I want to mention is the board is cool again. It has a story and it has you can play and listen along to the audio portion. However, for the second season in a row, it's not working. So, they introduced this cool feature where, there are the audio vignettes to kind of tell the story of the season. There's a little thing to go along with. Well, last season they stopped working, and this season they're still not working. So I think you have to go by the YouTube to listen to them or find them. Or, of course, they are on pirate radio. So they will be in rotation on pirate radio. But I found that a little disappointing. I was hoping that they would work because I really enjoyed listening to them last time.
Yeah, it'd be better to have them on the radio because who wants to sit there with the scoreboard open that long?
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing other things, you can just kind of pop it up, click play, and listen while you're doing other things, but not in game. I mean, like in your house, like washing dishes or, petting a pug.
Now, they should treat it like a holotape where you could like pop it on, start it playing, and then close down the menu and just have it be playing.
That would be perfect. Yep. That would be perfect, which pirate radio will do, but you can't choose what order you listen to them in and such. So that's why it's a little rough.
Yeah.
But we did get a community calendar. So that's awesome. Since we didn't get a roadmap this year, but the community calendar is kind of incorporating everything now. So looking ahead, we just got the drop. We have Holiday Scorched coming up. Yes, your Jingle Scorched going to be happening December 19th to January 2nd. So get out there, get your prezzies. Going to be some new stuff. It's going to be beautiful.
Does that also count the Santatron Collectron?
That's the same time. Yep. Yes. Put out your Santatrons, get your gifts, buy wrapping paper, make your gifts. All that stuff is available to you starting December 19th.
And you said there's new items this year, correct?
Yeah, there are new items again. I mean, we got new items in the for the Halloweenies, for the sports. We're getting them for Christmas. We're getting spoiled.
Yeah, there's just about to say we are spoiled of late, right?
Great items on the scoreboard. Some of the new stuff you can get for stamps in the expedition. Awesome, but we'll get to that. Anyway, Holiday Scorched, and then double XP and double score weekend coming up December 21st to 25th. So Santatron went to the North Pole, and he's bringing you a big old helping of double score and double XP.
Did you?
Then,
sorry, go ahead.
No, we're just getting gooftastic tonight. It's fun. So let's see. Looking at January, not a whole lot happening until the end of the month when we get a Burnin' Love Challenge. The Burning Hunka Burnin' Love Challenge is from January 30th to February 13th. So it ends just before Valentine's Day, which is odd. I guess maybe your love stops burning on Valentine's. But yeah, so that's going to be fun.
But
And then looking ahead beyond that, it's just great getting a whole new calendar. It's going to give you the preview. Fashnacht is mid-February again, so that's why we're stopping Burning Love. We're going from Burning Love right into Fashnacht. And then the season is going to end, and the next one coming out sometime in March. Which is
so
cool.
We finished this one. I'm, hopefully by the end of the month. You know what I mean? I don't want this trailing.
We just had a long 16-week season. And we're going to this one. So this one, if we got a solid 3.5 months, we'll probably get between 12 and 15 weeks to it.
But
so not a short season, just about right.
I was thinking, oh gosh, the first of the year might be too soon for Roundtable, but then at the first of the year might be perfect timing to squeeze a Roundtable in, because I'd be wrapping up the season, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
And, that would be, that might be a good timing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll decide. The last couple of years, we've been starting the new season in February. Like that's what we did the last several years, kind of coincidentally, but maybe again, but January could be good. Anyway, so America's Playground is the next update coming up. America's Playground and season 16. And that's going to be the second half of the Atlantic City expedition. So it takes me to the next thing. Like we discussed, Atlantic City expedition did come out along with season 15. 2 new expeditions, several new locations, not just in AC, but also in the forest. Like I mentioned, a lot of stuff for new players that can be very useful. I got an actual list of them been there before. Used to be ticks. Ticks disappeared a couple months ago. I'm like, why are there no ticks here? Well, now we know. The responders moved in. Apparently, they cleaned up the ticks first. Ingram Mansion has been closed up. So Ingram Mansion started out as, a rich guy's mansion that you just kind of went to. You unlocked the safe for some points, killed a couple robots, hid their nuclear winter. Then with Wastelanders, the cultists moved in. They took it over. They climbed the fountain. They swung from the chandeliers. They littered everywhere with Mothman eggs. Now, that's done too. There's a big old sign. It's closed up. Ladies' Night coming soon. Gonna be a nightclub of some kind opening at Ingram Mansion. But right now we're in between. I have a feeling that it will be opening up with the next expansion when we get that in March. Also, in the forest, a bunch of new locations have been added. We have Settlers Ridge, for settlers, of course, for Foundation. We have the Coop, which will introduce you to Raiders. We have the Blue Ridge Bunkhouse, which will introduce you to, you got it, the Blue Ridge Caravan. We have Oregon Cave, north, west, south, all the Oregons, except for East Oregon, because we're not going to take the Oregon Trail that way. We've got, by the way, it's Oregon, Organ, not Oregon.
Organ? Like we're playing a pipe organ?
Yeah.
Huh.
In the shop where they let you play the organ. Oregon Cave North. Then Forward Station Tango for the Brotherhood of Steel. And of course, Goodman Lovermill, I already mentioned. So we've got all that. And then, of course, all the new locations actually in the expedition themselves. The new factions we have are the Mobsters, the Showmen, and of course, the Overgrown, which are the plant creatures like Vault 22, but really creature from the Black Lagoon or creature from the Black Boardwalk.
The Gorts.
No. They're not Gorts.
Absolutely, they are Gorts. When I saw them, I was like, oh, these are the Trogs of this zone.
A backward Trog is a Gort.
Something, I don't know. I said something like that.
Also, you can start the expedition by just, if you're on Xbox, hitting X or the corresponding, open up your map, hit X to start an expedition. Or if you're on PlayStation, open it up, I think you hit square. And whatever you do on PC, you can just get to, and this has been the case for 6 months now, but people have not been paying attention to expeditions since they were changed. You now no longer need to fill your battery. So you haven't had to fill your energy cell, your power cell, since the beginning of the summer, end of spring. So now you can just start an expedition anytime. You do not need to do anything special. But if you do go to the White Spring Refuge, which is still there, with the responders, you can do an occasional daily. You're not making stew anymore, but they rotate some of the dailies. You can do an occasional daily there for people. And there is a new NPC for this. So we are getting an NPC to go along with. His name's Jeremiah Hopkins. He's in the refuge, kind of in the, what used to be the ballroom. near where Sophie is, who you give, she asks for cloth or concrete or whatever, and you give her stuff. He's got a little
The junk
location there. hmm And his name is Jeremiah, and he'll invite you to go to the Atlantic City expeditions. He'll talk about the lore and the backstory of Atlantic City. So if you want to know more about the factions there and about what's been going on, people living there, talk to Jeremiah. And that's just kind of going to be a hint on the stuff that is to come when we actually get the second half of the update. There are new gold bullion plans. We have cryptic card wall display, jewelry stand flare. You can get Grandma Junko with gold bullion. You want to buy yourself a Grandma Junko gold bullion. Auto miner collectron, cryo freezer. So yeah, you can actually buy companions there. And of course, there are new stamp plans. There are some recipes. A bunch of new stuff coming in, which is pretty cool. If I'm just gonna go down, I'm not gonna read everything because, guys, there are so many rewards. And also, not only is the Atlantic City Expos a little bit easier, but you can get more stamps. If you get tier 3, that's finish the expedition, be the leader, finish all 3 objectives, you can get 15 stamps now. Okay, so as a reminder, on the old one, the top you could get would be 8 or 9 stamps. Now you can get 15 stamps. So that is super cool. Rack them up quick. Get all the new gear. There's lots of cool loot.
Did you... I think you did see. Alex had saved enough stamps to buy out the entire...
He had about 1,500 stamps, which was just about what he needed to actually buy it all out. Yeah.
The entire lot. He just wanted to save up enough stamps to get everything.
Kind of perfect. A lot of my friends were part of the way there, but Alex is the only one I know with that many stamps.
He's my video game hero. He's a champion.
So we already talked about the TV trailer that came out at length, so I won't get into that again. But yeah, that was super cool. You guys remember? Go on a bit. That happened. Beyond that, I had mentioned that one of the reasons I thought they were going to do it was that the CCXP was happening, and that's essentially Comic-Con experience in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's their kind of Comic-Con down there, but it's a huge event, and Amazon Prime has done stuff before. Well, on top of the trailer and the panel, we had seen some pictures of what they had built there for a really cool kind of Fallout display. Turns out they had a whole vault in there. So if you go looking for it, there's also a video out there of the cast, well, a couple of the characters from the show touring a vault and talking about it and some of the props and all that. So that's a really fun extra thing you should look for. We've gone to Atlantic City. I talked about that a bit. And the Game Award. So final Iguana Bits for the day. We got a hearty helping of Game Awards last night, and it was a really fun show. So if you're on our Discord, you probably saw in general, Jerry and Salio and I especially were talking along, but Maddie and Lee and a number of others chimed in, Will, a bunch of people, as we were watching the Game Awards, kind of talking about what was happening and some of the cool reveals. And I was just curious if anyone saw anything that really appealed to them. I will say that, and it's not a total complaint, but just like last year, this year's Game Awards was much more Winter Game Fest. It was really more about the reveals in the awards. Like, usually there's a balance where there's some music and reveals and ads, but the awards get proper respect. If you go to watch it this time, for the award winners, they were given out, but they were kind of minimized. So just a heads up there.
My favorite award for 2023 at the Video Game Awards was Game of the Year for Fallout Shelter. I was very proud.
Yeah. Yeah, 2015, 2014 Game of the Year.
No. It was Game of the Year this year. Good job, Fallout Shelter. That's just my book. I'm sorry.
That's a category. Best ongoing game you should be playing. Fallout Shelter, obviously.
Congratulations.
No, but there were some great reveals. Game that looked really cool, Black Myth Wukong, looks amazing. The Hello Game surprise. Do you want to mention that, Ray? Have you watched that trailer?
Yes, I have actually. Yeah, so there's been rumblings that they were working on a new game. And so it was pretty exciting to see it finally, come out as a trailer, to see what it is that it actually is. There was a lot of speculation, that it was going to be No Man's Sky 2, which when you have a
Electric
game like No
Boogaloo.
Man's Sky where it's constantly evolving, how do you do a 2? So we were pretty sure that wasn't it. But
No Man's Sea.
yeah,
It's a pirate adventure.
so they showed the trailer for Light No Fires.
Wait, you said light, no fires?
Yes.
Oh, here, light, no fires. Very cool.
And so it's an exploration game, which is exactly what you would expect from Hello Games. And it looks like everything that they learned how to do with No Man's Sky rolled into a planet-based adventure. There's all kinds of creatures that you can ride, and you can build villages. And the nice thing, so they didn't really come out and explicitly say it, but because it is Hello Games, they did say it's multiplayer. And I would imagine that it'll be cross-platform.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be multiplayer and cross-platform. I mean, a good way to look at it is it's kind of like fantasy No Man's Sky, and it's an answer in some ways like what people are complaining about with Starfield. Well, some people, obviously, like, oh, it's just not, Bethesda makes these beautiful worlds and it's just one map and you explore everything, and it looks like this is going to be a planet. So unlike No Man's Sky, that is, millions of planets or however many, this is all taking place on one planet and it's fantasy, essentially.
Yeah. So, and it's one, they describe it as one Earth-sized planet.
Yeah. Sean Murray said we made Earth, didn't he? Did he actually? Was that the quote? So, he's not overpromising or anything.
But the beauty of a Hello Games Discovery type, world is the fact that, you can start in one spot and walk in one direction and make it all the way around the planet and back to the spot you were at.
So awesome.
And so, it promises to be an exceptional game. I mean, if it's, with all that they've done to No Man's Sky, to put that into a fantasy game, it'll be pretty unreal.
I am actually very excited. It looks beautiful. The textures, the colors, it's a little bit more realistic. It doesn't have the same cartoony graphics of, realistic for fantasy, but it's not as cartoony as No Man's Sky. And I really like the style. And I started off, I think they were flying, was that the one they were flying on a dragon at the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah. And birds, giant birds.
Oh, I'm like, is this scalebound? No, it looked great.
Riding on, on creatures. So it promises to be really good.
Yep. So that looked awesome. There were some great announcements, just any number of things. One announcement that I was excited about, that you guys know I was predicting and hoping, and yes, Baldur's Gate shadow dropped at the event. And had us right on the edge, because going through this whole show, like 3 hours, and they didn't announce it. And they mentioned Baldur's Gate. They showed the new deluxe edition. They didn't announce it. Well, it was an actual real shadow drop where at the end of the show, it's available now, but they didn't actually say it during the show, which was hilarious. But it sounds like what I've heard from some people is that Sven from Larian won Game of the Year, went to Baldur's Gate 3. And during the speech, they were going to talk a bit and also mention it's out now on Xbox during the speech. But supposedly he forgot because they were, like I mentioned, they minimized the awards a little bit. They were rushing people off stage a little bit. And he was, thanking a lot of people. I mean, Game of the Year, such a big deal. So he was thanking people and talking about remembering some people they lost along the way recently. One of their developers, it sounded like just a month ago. And so he was on that and they started playing the You Should Get Off music. Like, and he got time, but of course he didn't get a chance to do that. So that was sad. It didn't get announced during the show, but it did release, which is awesome. And then Jerry was watching along and he sent me a message. He dropped in Discord. He's like, Jess, check it out. And it on the Xbox app, download now. So I bought Baldur's Gate. A bunch of us already bought Baldur's Gate. And yeah, Will, I'll see you there soon enough.
He got a head start.
But a couple other cool announcements. And I mean, y'all will have probably, listening, if you care about games beyond Bethesda games, you'll have probably heard about some of them by now. There was an announcement for Marvel's Blade being done by Arcane. So Arcane Leon, who did the Dishonored series and have that, those really cool vibes, did Deathloop, did all the Dishonored games. They're doing a Marvel's Blade game, which is going to be really neat. In the awards, Starfield was nominated for Best RPG, but of course, Baldur's Gate took that category. And they had a nice little, out of all the games that weren't actually like up for a game of the year, a few other things, Starfield in the middle of the show had a little trailer just basically like saying congrats to all the winners tonight and thank you for all the love for our game. And so they were kind of just like, it was great. I'm like, the trailer, entire purpose. We thought it was going to be for DLC or something. No, it's just Starfield being like, yeah, we're awesome. Don't forget about us. Release this year. They're showing like their review scores and
Did they win anything this year, Starfield?
No. They only had one nomination. They weren't even nominated for soundtrack, which I think is a bit silly because it's gorgeous, but
What would you say that Starfield would need to be nominated for?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm incredibly biased. So I would have still put it up for Game of the Year this year over like Resident Evil 4 or Super Mario Wonder. It's doing some amazing stuff. The scope of the game, the systems, how good it looks. There's so much to it. The planets and their orbit, like we've talked about that a bit, like the way that they have modeled this whole section of our galaxy. And it's an achievement. And I think that should be recognized. But I feel like in time will show that despite some disappointment for Starfield, which I get with the way the map's set up and the loading screens and being a bit disjointed, I think, time will show that it's a pretty awesome game. And people are going to say, oh, well, after 2-3 years, they added content, it got fixed and modders fixed it. Just like they say with Fallout 76, like, oh, after 3-4 years, it's finally good. No, sucker. It's always been good. Okay? I'm telling you now, pull off those blinders. Get rid of those expectations. It's already good. Grr. Anyway, Game Awards. Some cool announcements, some cool winners. Sea of Stars got Best Indie Game. Looks like a great JRPG. That's one I really want to try. A lot of cool awards. Pikmin 4. I'm not playing on Switch, but Pikmin 4 looks like a lot of fun.
Jess, did you see the trailer for Light No Fire?
Yes.
There are some bunny warriors in here that I would really like to.
When I saw those, I shouted out. I was watching live with some friends. So I was chatting with people in ASA Discord, but I was in a voice chat with a few friends from up in Canada. And we're just like, bunny warriors, like so excited. Oh my gosh.
They look pretty badass. This game, I just pulled up the trailer. This game looks fucking tight. Looks really awesome.
It was not the only great looking game, and there were some great looking games, but yeah, that one is just going to be brilliant.
And Resident Evil 4, are they going backward in number now? I thought they had like 14 of those games by now.
It's a remake. It's a remake. And they did enough work on it that, it is a whole new thing in a way. But it does seem weird that in a year like this, we had so many fantastic games that a remake would be up for a Game of the Year award. But it was good. They deserved it. So very cool. That is it for my iguana bits. I hope it was a hearty helping.
One of the comments that Sean Murray made was that the game is going to have actual mountains says not video game mountains, but actual mountains.
The fuck is he talking about? Actual? That's not gonna have
I mean,
actual goddamn.
Are we going to
mountains.
die getting to the top? Like,
Well, he said it was going to be taller than Mount Everest.
really?
Yeah.
When he says actual mountains, does he mean our characters are going to walk at actual walking speed, and it will take us like 2 or 3 days to get to the top of the mountain?
Could be.
Gonna
Or
get
you can,
stranded.
fly up on your dragon or your giant bird,
Or, hop to it as a bunny.
because
Up
that's
the
how
slope.
we get up the
warrior
mountains
skills.
now. In No Man's Sky, is you hop on a beetle creature and they scale up the side of the mountain like it's a Skyrim horse.
Another game with vehicles. Starfield.
Yeah, the atomic motorcycle should be in Fallout. We all know.
Well, so Starfield can't have vehicles. Everybody's so worked up about that, but it can't happen because the space that you have to travel in is too small.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going like 50% faster in a vehicle, it's still pretty large. Like, it would take a while, but there's not a whole lot of
It's
point
only
to
like
it.
4,000 meters.
It takes a while to find the edge, though. Like, I feel like that 4,000 meter area is like a third the size of Skyrim. Like, it feels like a pretty big map.
I don't know. I bump up against it pretty quick.
Do you? See, I rarely hit the edge. I've hit the edge maybe 2-3 times, but maybe I go in circles a bit more, exploring things.
Yeah, I tend to radiate out in straight lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, going in a straight line would definitely make a difference. And, you have more time. I want to play it, like I said, for a couple hours. Once I scan and see everything, I usually head back unless I got an idea for a picture.
Yeah. But the animals look like they'd be fun to ride. So that bums me out.
There you go. See, and we know some people would really enjoy that.
Yes.
Toss a saddle on them.
Heck yeah.
Gosh, the puffer floaters I found on Sherma the other day. They got like these boogie eyes and this big old butt. Like, yeah, they would be so much fun to ride. And there are these weird, like, they look like a 4 or 5 tier, like cake taker kind of thing, just bizarre sky jellyfish. They were kind of creepy, but yeah, so many creatures. I really enjoy the aliens in Starfield. And I saw someone say the other day, like, I didn't think creatures could get any weirder or bizarre than in No Man's Sky. But some of the ones in Starfield might actually be. That wasn't you that said it, was it, Ray? I think it was just.
I think it was Baker.
Okay. It was Baker who said it. Okay. Yeah, I knew it was someone.
Yeah. Although the fly-faced hippopotamuses that fly in No Man's Sky are pretty fucking weird.
The fly face splendiphopotami. That reminds me. One of the things, I know we're done with the iguana bits, but there is a new bundle too. So you know how each time that they release a major expansion of sorts, they usually come with a paid version. If you want to pay for something, you get extra. So, we got the responders, the raiders, the BOS. There's one called Atlantic City Boardwalk Paradise. You can get a casino camp kit, honey potted gold slot machine, a pretty cool aquarium with the Atlantic door, fancy backpack, and a new plushie, and some power armor and such. I got to say, the power paints for this expansion are better than most. As someone who doesn't use power armor, I appreciate them. And other stuff we didn't hit on the update is that robots are back to normal now. Turrets and robots. You can run a silo again if you were having trouble now. The last 6 months since they started doing way too much damage, that is back to normal too. So, or at least more normal.
Not quite fixed, but sort of fixed-ish.
More reasonable. I mean, if you do the test your metal event with those robots, I mean, they were just murdering people.
Yeah,
they were murderizer robots.
No joke.
Mm-hmm. But they're a little back to balanced again.
Speaking of new games out this year, Mo is super excited about Skull Island: Rise of Kong on the Nintendo Switch that evidently just came out. How
It's handed dinosaurs too.
How many hundreds of awards did Rise of Kong win, Jess?
Not that many, I don't think. But hey, enjoy.
He asked my brother for the game, and Mo's got his birthday last week and Christmas coming up in a couple weeks, so he's got lots of junk coming his way, and he asked my brother about maybe getting him the new Kong game because Mo's pretty obsessed, and my brother looked it up and he said, Andrew, multiple game reviewers said this is the worst game they've ever played.
It has a Metacritic average of 3.6.
Is that on a scale of 4? Because that's pretty good.
It's a 10. Oh, wait. Sorry, I was incorrect. 3.6 user score, 23 critic score out of 100.
23 out of 25?
So that's essentially a 2.3. That's essentially a 2.3 out of 10.
2.3 out of 3?
No, sir. It is a bad game. I don't usually say that, but yeah, it's getting some pretty low scores. But they announced a new Jurassic Park game, that's exciting, but it won't be out for a little while yet.
It seems like they have new Jurassic Park games all the time.
Yeah, did you try the Park Builder one that we talked about like a year or two ago?
He loves the first one, Jurassic Park Evolution, and he's been asking for the second one now.
Okay, I thought so. I thought we talked about it, he picked it up, but it had been a while. So there's a new survival game coming out too, Jurassic Park Survive, that looks like it's going to be a good time, and I'll probably be the right age for it, when it comes out in a couple of years.
7 years from now, yeah.
Probably only 2 or 3 if they've announced at this point, maybe less.
Yeah, he wants the second Jurassic Park Evolution because it has the sea monsters in it, right? It has like the Mosasaurus, and his name is Moses, so he really likes the Mosasaurus because it sounds like his name.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
He likes that one. Oh, Otter, get out of the way. He's already stomped on the space bar once tonight.
Another shout out to Otter the Podcat. We don't really have any shouts this week.
No shouts?
No shouts. I mean, I mentioned Dawn. She, right after the show, she shared her Wrapped stats, and we were on the list too. So thank you, Dawn. Appreciate that.
And again, that's the show
end of year podcast statistics
with Mark Summers, when he tells you, he goes to a food factory and tells you how a food is made, Wrapped.
No.
That Mark Summers show, it's really good. My wife watches it a lot too. Wrapped, come on, it's great.
I think I've seen it.
Now, it is pretty funny how many people have like posted their Wrapped, and we've been on a lot of the top 5. That's
yeah, it's
awesome.
great.
Yep.
Thank you so much, people. I love to see it.
Well, I mean, you only have to listen to one episode.
and then it's
people in Discord saying, yeah, listen to 92 Hours this year. That was one episode. Not wrong. Because of wonderful padding like this. But speaking of wrapping, do we want to wrap it up?
Like a Christmas present.
Put a bow on it, Andrew.
Put a bow on it. As soon as Otter gets his butt out of my face. All right. Is there anything that anybody would like to talk about before we wrap it up tonight? Especially you, Otter. Get. All right. In that case, you can find him over there on the Twitter at RayLB. And any of your No Man's Sky needs is at BBC ISSS. Ray, thank you so much for hopping on tonight.
Good times.
You can find her at Sleep4T, also at Dames Who Game. Jess, thank you so much for hopping on tonight.
Have a great night, y'all.
I can be found at Indie Android. The show can be found at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable.
If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
We'll see you in the wasteland.
And we're out.
They got like these boogie eyes and this big old butt. They would be so much fun to ride.
I bump up against it pretty quick.
I've hit the edge maybe 2-3 times, but maybe I go in circles a bit more. No sucker. It's always been good. In the shop where they let you play the organ. Ladies' Night coming soon. Burnin' Love. I've got a buzzsaw blade with a Deathclaw's name on it.
It is very hard. You know, you have to be okay with dying. The woman that I picked up, I've got some woman that's always really happy to see me.
Is that a guy with a little, the balls all over his face?
I was up late doing the stuff like usual. Kill them out. To help them come together. That's a real trip. Guys did the team building exercise. It's a real trip.